Sorry, we're just getting ourselves set up here. So, well, we got all set up. We're just getting record.
Is that still too loud?
No, you're good.
You're good now. That was just on our end. That's all, Mark. So, all
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all caught me driving. I dropped my kid off. I thought I could stop and get me a breakfast taco or two. And then I look down and I see that and I'm like, what the hell?
Oh no. Yeah. Like these bastards. Right? Always bother me. You're not still driving now, are you?
No, I'm parked.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you for making the time for us then. I appreciate that, especially if we're interrupting you in the middle of breakfast and your morning routine.
You ain't interrupting nothing. All I was doing was I was trying to get to my studio, but it would have took me about 30 minutes to get there from here. That's why I thought it was 10:30 Central Time. I'm gonna have to start specifying what time zone are we in.
Right. I was trying to hammer that in and be like, hey, Eastern. Or I think we just got to move our podcast more centrally located in the country. So,
Yeah, a lot of our guests tend to be in the Central Time Zone, actually.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Anyways, thanks for being with us.
So does it matter this cam review or this cam review?
What you had before was fine, actually. So yeah, because
say it again.
What you had before was perfect because it showed a bigger. There you go. Yeah, we got a bigger view of you and your backdrop there. I'm trying to read some of the backdrop there. The Hall of Pain. There you go. All right. Very nice. That's cool. We'll screenshot that. Good deal. Thanks, Mark. So I got the first question for you. I wanted to ask you this. You won a 2011 Slammy Award for the Holy Shit Move of the Year with you and Big Show, where he suplexed you and the whole ring imploded. You've got so many accolades, I'm sure that doesn't even register on your radar. How is that kind of thing? I've always wondered, like, when a ring implosion thing happens, is that kind of thing predetermined, or does that just happen and then show's over?
Just be a fan and enjoy it. Quit acting like a mark.
Fair.
No, and first off, I suplexed him.
Oh, that's.
But it didn't. Right. It didn't work out well for either one of us. That's like headbutting somebody. I don't know if you ever been in a fight, but
I've been beat up a few times. Yeah. Look at me. Come on.
Somebody, it hurts you too.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to headbutt them in the nose, but I guess the only couple of times where I was forced to have to headbutt somebody, I headbutted them on the brow, and that's the hardest place where you can headbutt somebody, and I cut my eye open and knocked them half silly. So it didn't work out very well.
Hurt both you guys, and I know you guys are friends, so I'm sure it wasn't that. If you could have a do-over, that probably would have been one of them, right?
You know what? I think that was one of the funnest moments in my wrestling career. I'm glad that it got a holy shit moment, and I won a Slammy, and that was cool. But the fact that we did something that wrestling fans will be talking about 100 years from now, that's pretty special.
Absolutely. Yeah, not many people can say that they've suplexed the Giant. So, yeah.
Right.
Mark, I wanted to ask
and nobody said timber.
Probably should have.
Mark, I wanted to ask you a few questions about earlier in life. You're from Texas, correct? And
yeah.
Up here, to us, the South is mainly known for college football. That's their biggest export is football players. We're always trying to recruit them to get them to come up here. You used to play football in high school. What made you choose lifting over football?
Well, my senior year, I hurt my wrist in the first game of the season, and I was hoping that it would heal up pretty fast. But it was like the third or fourth week before I was able to come back, and then I realized, you know what, man, like I only got 6 more weeks, and then I was going to have to start training for the junior, for the state championship, but also the junior worlds. And I just decided, you know what, man, I'm going to focus to get myself strong and get ready for lifting. And that's what I did. And doing so, I had the Olympic Committee call me. I had Sports Illustrated call me. I had it was like I was becoming a star. I was able to, and I loved the way that felt. I had always been in team sports. I did boxing, I did kickboxing, and karate when I was a kid, but nothing felt like I felt when I was on that platform. And as soon as I was done, usually I only lost once as a junior, and that was at the Senior World Championships. So, I came in second place to a guy named Kurt Kowalski, and I beat 28 other grown-ups, and I was 18. So I was special, and it made me feel good. So I just said, you know what, this is going to be my life. I'm going to be the strongest man in the world.
Goal achieved.
Yeah, that you did. Going from high school, then shortly after that, if I did my homework correctly, and you can correct me where I'm wrong here, you were then started almost immediately training for the Olympics, correct?
Well, the Olympic Committee called me my senior year and said, hey, would you be interested in switching sports, and rather than doing just powerlifting, but start trying to do the Olympic weightlifting? And I was like, well, yeah, I'd love to. I don't know how. And they were like, well, we're gonna connect you with a couple of people and see how that works, and we'll fly you to Colorado Springs, and you can come to a camp and yada yada yada. So I did everything. I went to the camp. I liked it. I felt the challenge doing it because the Olympic movements are more athletic, and you have to have flexibility, and I had those things. I just didn't have the know-how. And a year and a half later, I came in 10th at the Olympics.
Now, you in previous interviews have talked about that your trainers had told you that, train hard, but you're probably not going to win because of the drug use, that performance-enhancing drugs. Did that come as a shock to you? Because to me, hearing that, I wasn't aware of how rampant it was. I mean, I knew that people try and cheat, but you almost made it sound like it was commonplace. And to me, it's like, good sportsmanship is you don't cheat to win. You know what I mean? It just blew my mind, I guess, a little bit. Did it come?
Well, that's exactly how I thought. But once I got to the level of the Olympic athlete, I found out that, in Olympic weightlifting was the dirtiest sport of them all. And, as much attention as I got for Olympic weightlifting and, international acclaim for Olympic weightlifting, it pissed me off, and my coaches as well, that, the Olympic Committee would allow these people that tested positive for taking steroids and growth hormone. They would test positive, they would slap them on the wrist, and then they would let them compete anyway. And I had people say, man, stop complaining. They're going to kick our sport out of the Olympics. And you should just take it. If you take it, then, you'll probably win. And I was like, no, I want everybody else to stop taking it so I can win.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, it was, it's such a mob. It's Olympic weightlifting. They just kicked Ursula Garza and a couple other high-ranking U.S. And international officials out of the organization because they complained a lot and that they tried to make the sport clean, and they didn't want that, and they ousted them.
Wow.
So it's a sport that, you know, I would love to say, man, I want to pour my heart and soul into it. I quit after the 96 Olympics because I knew it wasn't going to get any better. And I was actually planning on going back and playing football, and then Vince McMahon called. So
Yeah.
once I went to Connecticut, I never left.
Oh, well, that I guess catches my next question. So the WWE or WWF then reached out to you then. You know, that's how that came about?
Well, they reached out to me after they saw me saying that I was a fan. And then Terry Todd was friends with one of the guys that used to work for Vince. And he was saying, hey, man, y'all need to get that Mark Henry kid. You know, he said on Oprah that he was a fan of wrestling. Like, that, you know, don't bother him on Monday. That's the day he watches Raw. And so they reached out and called me. And now that didn't exist during that time because usually you went into a wrestling territory, you cut your teeth, doing everything. They would train you, and then you would, you know, appear on that territory in pro wrestling. I was the first developmental wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like no big company had done that before, where they reached out and went and got somebody, trained them with the intent on them being a major player in their territory.
Exactly. We were curious about that because we'd always heard stories about how other wrestlers kind of cut their teeth or got in, and it was like, oh, they ran into another wrestler at the gym or something, and that's pretty cool that they scouted you out. It was just like a remark on Oprah, and then they're like, let's get this dude. You know, he might make for a good, you know,
he might be all
good
right.
character. He might be all right. Exactly. So I want to get back to the wrestling a little bit because I know you. I'm a Mark. I'm a fan all day. So
I can tell by that first question you asked.
Yep. And my Raw shirt, man. Come on now. You know, my other one was
bless
worn
your
out.
heart.
Yeah, I know. That's right. So, anyways, I wanted to ask you some more wrestling questions, but now I've heard a lot of stories about things in the WWE that you've outright turned down, and a lot of respect to you for that. But you're such a nice guy. I could see you being a good sport about almost anything. Is there anything that you did and that you ended up regretting later on? Like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that thing. You know, I mean, there's some classic stuff later on, like the Mae Young thing and everything, and you're pretty cool about it.
Like all of that, everything that I did, I wanted to do. And if I didn't want to do it, I told them I'm not doing that.
Right.
The whole, you know, silverback thing. Like,
yeah.
I basically, you know, didn't mind climbing the cage and then, but once you referred to me as a silverback, then that changed the narrative. Like if you say, man, that guy is strong as King Kong, or that guy he's as big as Godzilla, that's different.
Right.
But if you said the self-proclaimed silverback, no, bullshit. No, I'm a black man in America. Like I can't be Monkey Man.
Right.
All these little black kids that look up to me. And I was like, I don't like that. I'm not doing that. And they understood, and you know, having good vision, you know, they said, well, we don't have to do that.
Yeah. I can't imagine being the writer that pitched that to you, you know, and thinking they could get away with that. Like,
well, the thing is nobody really, you know, like pitched it. It was more of whoever wrote like the introductions and how you introduce somebody. That's what was going on. So I would watch the show, and then I heard the self-proclaimed Silverback, and I went, "What? What did they say?"
Right.
No, like don't ever say that again. Like I'm not that.
Yeah, like I didn't say that about myself.
That shit went away immediately.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, good for you. Good for you for advocating for yourself and standing up for yourself, and for knowing that you got a fan base that looks up to you, and you know it's just degrading.
And just the pride of working hard and becoming a major celebrity outside of wrestling.
Absolutely,
I was somebody before wrestling, so that's the kind of thing. Like, did y'all watch that Jake Paul Ben Askren fight?
I didn't see it. I read some stuff on it, and I seen some video of it. I didn't watch it live, but
okay. Well, I watched the whole thing. I love the concept. I think that to tastefully, they're gonna have to make it more clean, more PG during the daytime hours if you want young people to watch. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to do it later on, after 10 o'clock and call it like late night or after dark or whatever you want to call it, rated R, TV, boxing, or whatever, then do that, and you can do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. But the whole point of the conversation is there's some things that you cannot do because it's hard to go back from. Oscar De La Hoya was one of the people on commentary, and they were openly drinking and they were openly smoking weed, and you could tell that Oscar was impaired by the things that he was saying, and Oscar's image was the golden boy. Clearly, Oscar was not the golden boy that night.
Right.
And it's going to be hard to fix that. And he's going to have to at least, I think he should come out and apologize to his fans, the fathers and mothers that watch that, because, he says some out of line stuff and some arrogant, mean, overly aggressive, machismo type of things. And that's not the way that he is perceived. You play the lane that you're in. And what you doing with the phone, man?
I'm just trying to get some screenshots here. Watucky is notorious for screwing up our technical and not getting video later on, so I'm just trying to get a couple clips that we can tease later on. But I'll quit messing around with it. That is annoying. So
looked a little weird. I was just saying, what the hell's going on?
I'm sorry. Yep.
Calling you on your bullshit.
I'll turn it off, man. Sorry about that.
But the guy at the gym shooting girls on the treadmill.
Oh, geez.
No, we don't go that route, man. No.
No, man. I don't even go to the gym, okay? So, there.
Yeah.
Look at me. You can tell.
I'm just messing with you. But the whole point of the thing is there are certain things that you can do and that you can say that it's hard to come back from, and that could damage you in a way. And I didn't want that for me in pro wrestling. I didn't want me to leave wrestling or retire from wrestling one day and people go, "Hey man, you remember that time Mark Henry was, Monkey Man or the Gorilla Man or whatever?"
Right.
I'm beyond doing something for the money.
Right.
Not because I'm so rich that I, wipe my nose with money. That's not the thing. The point is my image and what they put on my tombstone is going to be important to me.
Exactly. It's having respect for yourself.
Right. And I just didn't want negativity like that.
Right. Absolutely. Now, Mark, you were one of those guys that I personally always rooted for you. Even when you were a heel, I kept rooting for you. And even if you're up against somebody who was one of my favorite wrestlers like Bret Hart or Undertaker or somebody, I still was like, it's cool if Mark Henry wins. It's cool if Mark Henry beats up my guy because he's the world's strongest man. He's a badass, you know. So
I might not have won, but they got the hell beat out of.
Sure did. Yeah. So I was wondering who did you kind of model yourself after when entering the ring? I know that you were a big wrestling fan yourself growing up. So, I mean, besides the Giant is an obvious one. Kind of who else was in your stable of guys that inspired you?
You know, I was a fan of a lot of guys. You know, Ernie Ladd was like one of the guys that I was really highly influenced by Bam Bam Bigelow. And then I wanted to do something different too. And a lot of guys, they really didn't want to have to fight somebody in the crowd if they had to, or if they didn't have to. But I didn't mind getting hit. You know, I didn't mind hitting somebody if it came to that, you know, but I never threw a punch at a fan. But if somebody hit me or spit on me, believe me, I would grab their ass and I would scare the living hell out of them. And I was willing to take whatever smoke came with it. And a lot of people are not.
Right.
And that was the thing that I felt like I added to my entrance, because I did eyeball people. There's always that one guy that, you know, he oversteps the bounds. Like, you stay in your seat and everything will be fine. But if you hit me and I'm walking down that ramp, or you spit on me, I was coming for you. And a lot of people, we had security that saved a lot of people's lives, because I didn't need security. The security was for the fans.
Yeah.
So I tried to add that intensity to my entrance, as well as how I was perceived in the ring, and it worked.
Now, Mark, you're working with Backstage with Raw right now. Is there anything else you're doing since you've retired, besides working post backstage production?
Well, right now I'm a consultant for SWE Wrestling and out of Dallas, and they wanted to build a old school wrestling company, and I studied my rear end off the last 30 years, not only as a fan, but as somebody that wanted to, at some point, get into the production and the decision-making process of pro wrestling. And I earned that, and I have an understanding of pro wrestling that's Yoda-like. And I'm kind of a nerd. It's really weird that I float the middle ground between athletics and academia. And there's always been this underlying war between academics and athletes. I don't know what that is. The academics want to call people Neanderthals, and you know, you're a meathead or whatever, and then the athletic, physically gifted calls the smart inferior and nerdy or geeky or whatever it is, and I'm both.
Breaking stereotypes.
I love comics. I love art. I love music. You know, I like being around people with a brain that, you know, can show you something or explain something about the world that's different. And the fact that I love it is I think a good stamp of approval, because it makes you more well-rounded. But for whatever reason, there's some people that they don't like both. They don't like one or the other. And man, I'm all for it, man. I want to use that understanding and that knowledge to help. And I have an eye for what works and what will work. And, I'm using that gift to help that company.
Absolutely. Well, kind of speaking of that, is my last question anyways. Do you have Watucky's stepson is in a local wrestling school? He just started, but he's taking his knocks and stuff, and he's helping put together the ring, and he's passing out flyers, and he's doing all the pre stuff before you even really get to. I mean, he's working out and he's
doing the training and the practices with him.
He's getting his ass kicked and stuff, but this is something that he really wanted. Do you have any advice for a young person aspiring to be a pro?
I would say humble yourself, work for the business. Don't be a ass kisser. Don't be a mark. Like, I can carry your bags and go get you a cup of coffee and ask if you need anything without being an ass kisser.
Sure.
When I do it, I want people to know, hey man, like, I know you're busy and you got to get everything ready for the show tonight. Let me help make your day easier. But don't think that I'm doing this because I want a favor. Like, I'm doing this because I want to show the business. I want to show everybody that I love the business. I'm doing it for the business more than I'm doing it for you. And anybody that's over it will look at that and go, damn, all right, give me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But they'll respect you. And you have to respect yourself by not letting yourself get walked on. But you also got to sacrifice for the business, because there's many a night I drove the car for the veteran. Many a night when I used to be Yoko's young boy, I would carry his bags to the room, check in the hotel, get the key, hand it to him as he's walking in, go park the car, come back. Hey, Mark, can you go get me something to eat? Go get something to eat, bring it back. Like, you got to be able to help. Like, he needed the rest. He was the main event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, guys need to think about that. How do we make the business better? Make it easier. If you haven't punched somebody in practice 1,000 times, why would you do it in a match? If you haven't done suplexes on mats until you perfected the movement, why would you ever do it to somebody? You're putting somebody's life in danger. So, like, that's my thing. Like, do everything 1,000 times. I punched a shower curtain for 2 years before I threw a punch at somebody. Well, that's a lie. I threw a punch at somebody, busted their nose. Then the coach hit me in the nose and asked me how I liked it. And I said, I don't like it. Don't ever hit me again. I'll kill you. And then he said, well, go practice. Go punch a shower curtain 1,000 times. Like, why would you do it? So in your mind as a wrestler, you got to think about, how do I protect the people I work with? How do I respect the people that I work with? And am I going to be a part of something, a part of an idea that's making the business better? And if you can get them to do that, they'll be fine.
Awesome.
Thank you. Great advice.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Mark, for your time. You gave us more time than we promised you that we'd wrap it up on, and you're probably still sitting on the side of the road, so we'll let you get home. But thank you so much for your time. I know I bothered you a lot, but I wanted to be persistent and get you on our show. So thank you.
You're all right, man. I don't do nothing I don't want to do.
I appreciate hearing that.
That's my wife.
Right on.
All righty. Thank you very much, Mark. You have a great day.
All right, man. Y'all be good. Have a great show.
You too. Thank you.